Good afternoon. Now we are going to talk about the pay broadbanding. This is one of the element of strategic compensation and benefit management. Here we have the concept of pay broadbanding. This is basically the strategic consolidation of the multiple pay grades into few pay broadbands. As you all know that the pay grades are designed for the different employee grades. For example, uh, the baseline employees will have the basic pay grades. Then the line manager will have obviously the better pay grade compared to the baseline employees. Then the middle level management will get a higher pay grade, and it will go on like this. So in case of the pay broadbanding, what is done, basically the consolidation is done, the merging of different pay grades will be done to get a single broadbanded pay. We can call it a pay band as well. Now these are the features of broadbanded pay structure. First of all, it's applicable for competency-based pay programs when the pay program is somehow linked with uh, the competency or the performance level. In that case, this kind of pay programs are used. Next one, if the organization is having a relatively flat hierarchy, means the organizational pyramid is somehow flattened. In that case, this type of broadbanding will be easier. Its salary band will have many consolidated smaller grades into it. A single band will have multiple grades into it. And minimum to maximum pay range spreads and greater than the traditional structures. Now in the next slide, we can see two diagrams, two graphs rather. First one is for a traditional pay structure, second one for the broadbanded pay structure. In case of the traditional pay structure, we can see that especially on x-axis, we have the job evaluation point. Based on the merit of the job, the evaluation points are actually attributed, or we can say that depending upon certain parameters like the complexity of the job, the risk associated with the job, the challenges associated with the job, these evaluation points are actually provided to a certain job. And we can see that on x-axis we are having the range starting from 100 and 1400 up to 1400, and these monthly pays are actually they correspond with the job evaluation points. Higher the job evaluation points, higher the pay. Therefore, it's a completely linear relationship. Now, in case of the first pay grade, we can see it's starting from the job evaluation point of 100 and up to 300, and the range of salary monthly pay is from $1,000 to $2,000. Second grade starting from 300 to 500, and the range is a little below, starting from a little below of 2,000 to 3,000. This way, these two pay grades are there. But in case of the pay broadbanding or banding, basically, these two grades are merged together to make one pay broadband. For example, it's starting from 100 only, but the evaluation points is a little bit higher compared to the evaluation point over here, that is 500. Here it is somewhere around 550 or something like that. So when we are actually making the pay broadbanding, doing the pay broadbanding, we can adjust our lower limit and upper limit. That's why if we refer back to the previous slide, you can see that the minimum and maximum pay range spreads are greater than the traditional structure. Means we can reduce down the lower level of the pay, and we can extend the higher level of the pay as well. For example, you can see that for pay grade 1 and 2, if I am starting from here a little less than 1,000 to maximum salary range provided to 3,000. But in this case, as we have extended the evaluation point also a little bit, you can see a change over here as well. The salary range is also enhancing to 4,000. In place of 3,000, it is actually 4,000. So this is the basic way to perform the pay broadbanding, to merge, to consolidate the pay grades into the different pay bands. Now, one thing to note that in case of pay grades, the employees will have some limitations. First of all, if they want to move to the second pay grade, there will be a promotional procedure. There will be some performance appraisal. They have to wait for a given cycle, maybe 6 months or usually 1 year for the Indian companies. So in that case, they have to wait for 1 year to jump to the second pay grade. But in case of the pay broadbanding, they are allowed to have lots of freedom to move amongst these job evaluation points so that they can perform even better. And if they are performing better, that will be the competency linked performance payment system. And so that if they are performing, for example, if someone is having a score over here, so directly he can enjoy the pay somewhere around here, which he would not have ever received had there been the conventional pay grades. So this is the utility of the pay branding or pay broadbanding. Advantages: career development over the job promotion. Job promotions definitely will be there, but the career developments will be there, as we have seen that the employee will have a higher chance to move through these job evaluation points, means he can have a better endeavor, he can have a better performance. Streamlined hierarchical structure. This is applicable for the streamlined hierarchical structure, not a very not an organization having a long hierarchy. And reduction or reduce the need for specific skills. Okay, we can tell one thing from, we can see one thing from here. Over here, for pay grade 1, there will be one particular skill set. Here also there will be another particular skill set. But the moment actually these barriers are diluting and it is actually merging to have a single broadband, so the skill sets and the skill levels are actually having lots of flexibilities, and the employees can have a chance to learn even better. Along with the advantages, there are certain disadvantages as well. For example, the first disadvantage is that there is a lack of external market threats. Pay broadbanding is actually, what it's doing, it's actually focused on the internal payment issues. Actually, it's merging the internal payment grades. So the external factors are not actually being considered. So this is one disadvantage of the pay broadbanding. A non-precise midpoints. In this case, if we refer back, in this particular diagram, we can see that the midpoints are very clearly defined. For these evaluation, people who are having this evaluation point, having this job worth, will have a midpoint of earning midpoint of this, salary midpoint of this. These people will have a midpoint of this. But the moment you are actually merging, you can mathematically you can say that yes, this is the midpoint. But actually, the skill set are becoming much more flexible, and anyone can grab any skill set. So that's why exactly for which skill set, what will be the payment scenario, that cannot be stated very easily from this pay broadbanding scenario, because the options are becoming much more open for the employees to grab. So that's why the actually streamlining and puts a middle point for the entire pay range will be a bit tougher for the broadbanded pay system compared to the traditional one. And no cost control mechanism over here. As such, no benefit is directed towards the company so that they can earn some better cost control chances. They can have some better cost control chances through this pay broadbanding methodology. So these are the different aspects of the pay broadbanding, but it has been taken as a strategic component, compensation and benefit component, focusing largely on the developmental aspects of the employees. So we'll stop here for this discussion. In the next class, we will start with the remaining topics. Till that point of time, thank you very much. Stay indoor and stay safe.